Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today you're joining me in a Jaguar E-Pace, a 2021 model. It's a D200 all-wheel drive. It's a nice car, but I'm not here to really talk about this particular car. I'm here to talk about Jaguar. This morning I watched Harry's garage video regarding the new Jaguar Type-00. We've all seen the terrible marketing strategy that no one seemed to understand when they released the advert. A, because of course it didn't even reference that there was going to be a car made by Jaguar, which was rather strange. They did release the snippet of a very small section of the car, which kind of did balance it out a little bit, that we did know that there was a car coming. And of course it was unveiled at an art show or an art studio in Miami, of which, you know, as motoring enthusiasts, we couldn't really get on board with. The whole advert kind of confused a lot of people, angered quite a few people, and I think it kind of angered me a little bit, from the sense only because they seem to delete everything that Jaguar once was. They kind of got rid of the heritage with this rebrand, and I think, well, you shouldn't have really done that. You can be very proud of what Jaguar used to produce. They used to do some very exciting cars, and this E-Pace that I'm in, it isn't necessarily an exciting car. It's a nice car. I've got these soft touch steering wheel controls. I've got a nice big screen with an enormous amount of technology in there. The dials just below the screen, it's all very plush, and it does have a nice feel to it. But I almost feel it is the same as many other manufacturers out there. You can jump into a Kia and feel the same, a BMW feel the same, an Audi and feel very much the same. So they have stuck to their word in the sense of they are going to be original, in whether that's right or wrong, I'm not really sure. And in their advert they said it's going to, you know, really shake up what it is to have a car made by Jaguar, which again confused quite a lot of people, because you don't fix what isn't broke, but they really are going for this strong rebrand. And I think as the unfortunate result of such a botched advertisement, people kind of expected this car with an already sour taste in their mouth. We put onto our Instagram story this morning as Condor Vehicle Sales about, you know, do you love it or do you hate it? And the very, very strong consensus is that a lot of people have messaged saying they do not like it at all, they hate it. And I think it's because of the advertising campaign that they did. And this is where it might get a little bit controversial for you, because I was watching Harry's garage video this morning, because of course he's had one of the very first sneak previews of this car, and I was fascinated by it. When you see the side profile of the car and you see the shapes of it and everything like that, I actually thought it looks quite cool. You have to forget about what Jaguar have done to their heritage and the way that they've kind of gone about trying to unveil it. If you look at it as a standalone car, or a concept of a car, because let's remember that's what it is at the moment. We won't see one on the road, Harry reckons, for 2 years, purely because obviously it's got to go through manufacturing processes, and unfortunately we've seen it previously where the concept car looked vastly different to the actual production car. But I think the Jaguar Type-00 as a standalone thing, it does look very impressive. It looks absolutely enormous, and I have no aspirations to own one whatsoever. But there's a few cars that have come out like that. I think that, you know, I can appreciate the art of it, although it doesn't appeal to me. And that's exactly what it is with this Jaguar Type-00. The fact that it's also a fully electric vehicle, it must weigh an absolute enormous mass. I can't imagine what it's going to weigh. Given that it's all electric, and obviously the tech on it is going to be very good. It's the same with most electric cars, and I can appreciate the technology on them as a standalone vehicle. I don't think that they're sustainable. I really don't think that they're the way forward, in particular for British motoring or any kind of motoring, to be honest with you. I really don't think that they've got the longevity like an ordinary car does. But I've always appreciated that the tech that they carry is very good. I don't know how they get it to shift quite as fast as it does. The acceleration is mind-boggling on some of these electric cars, and what they do is very fascinating. That doesn't mean that I have to then be on board and think that it's a good move forward for the whole of the motor industry. There's a lot of manufacturers that are now pushing back on governments to say it's just not viable for us to keep making electric cars. The sales are massively down and people aren't interested in it, and I think that all comes at the same time with Jaguar's very bad advertisement and also the general consensus for EV not being great, to then unveil this very bizarre concept of what the Jaguar will be going forward, which is a fully electric luxury car trying to compete with the likes of Rolls-Royce and Bentley. It's all kind of gone the wrong way. But as I mentioned, the car as a standalone car, the Jaguar Type-00, it is a proper head turner. I do think it looks villainy type thing, and as I say, when they had the previous campaign back in, would have been maybe 2013 when the F-Type came out, it was a really good campaign. They got some Hollywood A-listers in there, and it was all about, you know, it's quite cool to have a villain type car. So they really handled that one well, and it's been obviously referred to in a lot of other videos regarding just the advert itself. So I really think if they'd have done the advert in a totally different way and really tried to appeal to the quote-unquote petrol heads and car enthusiasts, we'd all be quite excited about this concept of the Jaguar Type-00. As I say, I think people have already got a bit of a sour taste in their mouth because they were very confused and left like, oh, I don't know what that is and I'm not sure who it's catered to. That kind of hindered the excitement that people were going to feel regarding this new Jaguar that's just been unveiled. As I say, a fantastic car. I'd have no aspirations of owning one. It's not made for me though. Jaguar haven't made it for the everyday person that needs a car to get around day to day, or for the motoring enthusiast that's going to really enjoy it. As I say, I dread to think what that car is like to actually drive. I think it's being made for Hollywood red carpet events, and I think it's being made for an arrival centre, because let's be honest, it will be. There will be a lot of people that want to turn up in that car because of the tech that it unveils, and also the fact that it is a controversial new Jaguar. It's not made for the likes of me. I just have to accept that. It's quite sad, as I say. I mean, this E-Pace that I'm currently driving, it's not the most exciting thing, but at the same time I appreciate that people will like it, and it is a very usable daily car. That is by no means a usable daily car. It's not made for the likes of me. The only other thing that confuses me a little bit is they say that they're trying to compete with Rolls-Royce or the very top end of Bentley and things like that. I think as a motoring enthusiast, if I was looking for a car for that kind of purpose, I'd probably stick with Rolls-Royce or get a very high-end Bentley. They've been doing it for so long. They absolutely own that market. This may well make a dent into it, but the fact that it is just going to be a purely electric option only, and the enormity of the car, I can't imagine it to be that popular. But again, I could be very, very wrong. As a standalone thing, I think it looks really quite cool, and it is fascinating. If you used to see one on the road, it would turn your head. There's no doubt about that. I have no aspirations to own one. I think the inside looks all a bit quirky and non-traditional, but that is exactly what they were going for. They even told us that that's what they were going for. You know, they're being the whole, you know, be original, copy nothing, and all of that. They'd gone for this very bizarre advert, but the consensus was true that they really have changed what it is that they're doing. I just wish they didn't get rid of the heritage. There's no reason to get rid of the heritage of Jaguar, because it does have a very, very good heritage. You know, the E-Type is renowned to be one of the best cars on the market and very pretty. The F-Type is also very nice. The XKs, and like they've got the V12 engines, like real proper motoring heritage, which they seem to have just deleted, and that is a real shame. As I say, it's not made for me as a standalone car. It does look very Gotham-like and very villainous, very, very cool, but we'll see. As I don't think it will look anything like it did in the concept car, purely because it is so big. You know, it might be that on a much smaller scale. I'm not sure, but yeah, it might be controversial to say that I actually like the car as a standalone thing. They just really made a mess of the advertising, and I think they've upset a lot of people, and trying to convince a lot of upset people that they've done the right thing is is going to be very difficult for Jaguar to do. But yeah, that's my thoughts. As I say, there's already a lot of contenders out there that people do not like it. But let me know your thoughts, and I'll be intrigued to read them. Thanks very much.